This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sophia Yvette.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a book author, personal development coach, and keynote speaker? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Super Dave Quinn with Day One Experts. Dave, or Super Dave, it's great to have you on today. Now, we are so excited to learn all about you and your business. So please start off and tell our listeners just a little bit more about your company and how you got started.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for having me on. It's great to be here. Super Dave Quinn. I am the founder of Day One Experts. Day One Experts is a consulting firm. We work with small business owners and economic development cities. We're a fractional economic development company, meaning that we help communities that need economic development resources source those. And then we also help small business owners who want to connect with communities and need to leverage economic development resources. We help them get those. So we kind of play on both sides, the public and the private side. Started that when I left Frisco Economic Development in 2018. We started Day One Experts so that I could stay here in Frisco and raise my kids. I've got one more kid in Frisco ISD, so we wanted to stick around and not have to move. And we've been blessed ever since. We had customers pretty much from day one. And so we were excited about that. And through that process, I was able to also author a book, actually authored a couple, one for economic development, but also authored Put the Damn Card Up. And now have started doing keynote speaking up, been doing keynote addresses and also doing workshops and training and then business help, mentoring, coaching, sort of a life coach, but in this very specific niche of either public service employees or small business owners.
Wow. So many different sides to what you do, and what a great story. So now we're just going to go ahead and dive deeper into your business. So with Day One Experts and being in the economic development space, what is the number one misconception you tend to come across?
Well, on the economic development side, it's often that we're handing out, as a community, you're handing out checks to business owners and you're just giving them money. And what we don't realize is that you're really not handing them extra dollars for the sake of handing them extra dollars. Really, oftentimes what we're doing is bridging the risk gap because these business owners are investing in the communities. They're often relocating their businesses from different states. And there's a lot of risk and costs inherent in doing that. And so these communities in Texas have the opportunity to help bridge that risk gap by using economic development resources. And we look at what is the economic impact that business being in our community is going to create. And oftentimes the way we structure those deals is they're not being paid until they create some economic opportunity. And then they're just getting a share of that back as a way to help them bridge that, all the risk that's inherent in moving their business to Texas. So that's one of the big misconceptions that I face on the public side. On the private side, a lot of times business owners don't know that when they're moving to a different community or moving into the state of Texas, that economic development is done at the local level and they can plug into those resources. They don't know how to do it. And that's where we step in. We help them navigate that landscape. Oftentimes at no cost to them. It just depends on who they connect with. But for very little, they can connect with a community that has economic development resources. May not be cash, maybe it's just connections and knowledge, but will allow them to move into their community and thrive from day one. That's kind of the idea.
So let's flip the script for a second. How do you think these communities would be able to function without Day One Experts?
So I'm going to understand your question right. How would they function without us or with us?
Without you. Like if there wasn't this economic development resource for them, why is it so important that they really need this? What do you think things would look like without it?
Great. Yeah. So one of the things that we help communities do, and why it's important that communities connect with us. Often we work with communities that need more expertise than they can afford, right? So they're a fast growing community, but they're not yet at a point where they can hire a seasoned economic developer. So they can hire us. We bring the expertise of over 60 years in the business. We have a partner. We've been doing this. I myself have been doing it for over 20 years. I'm a certified economic developer. And so we can really help them at an expert level that they couldn't afford otherwise. And then what happens is as they grow, they can grow into more of our services so we can scale up with them. Or when they reach that point where they can have their own economic developer, there's a little bit less emotion around letting us go, and we can help transition them to a full-time employment situation. So really, we can scale up or down depending on what the client's needs are. And oftentimes, clients will hire us for a very specific niche that they're looking for. So they may have a seasoned economic developer who's just never done the type of project that they're facing. And so they'll hire us to come in and be on their team. And from the outside, everybody thinks it's just their team doing the work, but they've got the expertise that they can plug into with us. So we always say that, we have relationships, expertise, and financial resources that can help a project get done in a community. And so that's really what we offer, is that at a fraction, and you can have multiple cities using our services without having to pay the full cost of having the whole team on their staff.
Now, let's go ahead and switch gears for a second. Now, we do know that at the end of the day, marketing is the heart of every business. You are looking to help so many different types of businesses, and it sounds like you definitely already have. So ideally, who is this client that you'd like to attract, and how are you staying in front of them today?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we, on the private side, we help small to medium-sized business owners who have been in business for at least 3 years, have at least 5 employees, maybe up to about 150 employees. And that's our sweet spot, because these smaller companies a lot of times don't generate enough economic incentive opportunities for other site consultants to really help them. And so we can help them. That's our niche, right? So a lot of site consultants and others and brokers are looking for companies that are going to have these massive incentive deals, and that's how they get paid. And the way we've structured it is a lot of times we'll have communities paying us to help them connect with these small business owners. So the business owner doesn't actually have to pay anything. And so that's really our sweet spot, is, helping the entrepreneur, the business owner, not a CEO who's got a real estate staff and a full team trying to do this. Oftentimes, the person we're talking to is coming from California or Oregon or Washington, maybe New York, New Jersey. They've never been in Texas. They're overwhelmed by all of the different options. And so what we allow them to do is connect with us and really get a lay of the land in Texas. We understand what their needs are. We understand what the state of Texas is and what regions they would be a good fit for. And then we start connecting them with economic development resources and really make it a faster transition period, because, again, Texas has over 1,200 different communities. Even in Collin County, there's over, I think, 13 or 14 different cities in Collin County alone, and they all do economic development different. And you can be overwhelming if you're not careful. So that's what we bring to the table on that side.
Great. Now, with Day One Experts, what are your 3 top core values that you have with this company that your clients can expect from you to bring?
Yeah, so this may be a little different than most business owners would say and in the business world, but we start with love. I love people. I love helping people. And at the end of the day, that's where we start. Loyalty is another one that we're a big believer in helping those who buy into the vision of what we're doing. And if it means getting you to someone who, it might not mean a payday for me, but if I get you to the right person, we're going to do that. It's what's best for our clients and our the people who've been good to us and the people we work with. And the third one, that's a good one. It's gratitude. We're grateful every day that we get up and get to do this. Every day that we get to draw a breath, we feel like we've won the lottery from the get-go. Now, not all of those days are easy, or, some days are easier than others, but we believe that we're here for a purpose every day that we get up and get to do this work. So we all show up with that attitude, and we try to help other folks realize that as well, because, there's a lot of places in the world where you wouldn't get to do this. You wouldn't get to have the choice of where you're going to do business. And so the fact that we have the opportunity to help people choose where their new life is going to be, I think that's a pretty awesome responsibility, and we're grateful for that every day.
And a final question for you. Where can our listeners go to learn more about Day One Experts?
Such a great question. Well, so D1, the letter D, the number one, experts.com is our website. You can find us on all the socials at D1 Experts. We have a podcast called Gone to Texas. You can go to gonetotexaspodcast.com. We interview business owners who've moved their business or have grown a business in Texas. And it gives business owners a look at what life is like in Texas as a business owner, and what other people are facing, and hopefully it's a little bit of an inspiration to them, and let them know that they can do it too. And I would also say they can simply Google Super Dave Quinn. I promise you'll find out all you want to know about who I am, what I am, and where you can connect with us.
Well, Super Dave, I really appreciate you being on the show. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfrisco.com. That's gnpfrisco.com, or call 469-221-9345.